So we've been on Project Tidy Up on the race tractor for a while, and MOT is due next week, and we're going to leave it with a couple of people for the MOT while I'm away for a week. They can have a drive and see if they like enough to buy it too. So tidying up a bunch of bits. I've redone the earth cables. Originally they came kind of down this way, and they kind of some very bad earth spots basically I had them on. You can't even tell where I rubbed the paint back originally, so they were no good, and the cables were manky. So we've done a couple of really nice spots there. We've ground all the paint back, we've used some copper washers, lots of copper slip, and two nice tidy cables. Keeps it a little bit neater as well, so there's no cables going that way and this way. So that's all nicely done. You've seen that we've put some lovely door cards in, which I'm quite proud of. These ones for a little bit of a DIY job. I mean, they're a bit dirty right now, but got a nice locking mechanism to them, and then you open it in there in the fronts. Fuel gauge has been faulty for a while, and I was hoping to try the lemon clocks. I'm replacing them with GTI 6 clocks, so they don't work, of course. So I've got a bunch of clocks out as a shout out to a lad who's sending me some for free. I can't remember his name, I'm very sorry, but shout out to you. People have been legends over the last couple of months, sending me bits for free. I've been paying postage obviously, and I've been sending out Piggy stickers to say thank you, and hats and stuff. And then what else have we done to get it ready? We've serviced all the brakes, been stripped down, greased, appropriate greases in the right places. And I've also the Powerflex bushes on the front. They've been a bit squeaky, so pulled them out, re-greased them, and on the back oiled up the little adjusters on the gas coilovers, while the dampers on the back, and then just reset them a bit hard, so I've softened them up a little bit. Front end here, what have we been up to? Had to adjust no end amount of linkages with the new gearbox. So there's the Lemons gearbox in there now, because the original gearbox, which is over there, if you saw that in a recent episode, blew up. Yeah, so there's goodbye to that, never mind. Tiggy's made me up a nice T-piece here, so that we can just recycle the gases, basically, the breather system, rather than it coming down to a can or a bottle and it keeps leaking and making a mess. It's just going to recycle them. It's just a little bit cleaner, and at least I know where they're going. But it caused a bit of an issue here. We used to have a heat shield run along here. So we've got a piece of aluminium I'm going to do in a second, and I won't show you much of how I'm making that because it's going to be a lot of boring stuff. So what I'm going to do here is going to put a piece of aluminium along there, a bit like I did before, but I'm going to continue it across the top, because it's really hard to make a kind of point on the bonnet where it's going to seal along a bit of a wobbly edge bonnet, and then it'll have a little hole there to allow the NACA duct to come in, or NACA duct, and obviously the cold air is going to feed underneath, so that will keep this area nice and cool for the air filter, for the engine to breathe. And I'm just going to check over the fluids after the MOT is done. Hopefully it was all clean and tidy, there's nothing really wrong with the car that I can see. I have one small oil leak to sort out at the back there. I'll do that after the MOT, and just going to check over the fluids. Then we're going to have a service afterwards, even though it's not really due one. I'm going to give it one anyway. I'm going to oil the air filter, blah 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 blah. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure we are with the race tractor as far as chronological order goes. However, this is where we're at. I've been making an airbox. Oh yeah, it's past the MOT. Good things. Need some exhaust rubbers. I need to order them. That's not a problem. Now I knew they kind of were on their way out, so I was going to be replacing them anyway. I had done a few of the tiny little bits on it. Service brakes, stuff like that. Replaced some boost pipe hoses, which were looking cranky. And we've got a nice little return here from the breather in. I think I mentioned that last time. I can't remember if I did. I'm sorry if I did. We've got the first half of the airbox in. I ran out of time pre-MOT, so I've been using this sort of plastic stuff, corrugated plastic, which is really handy because it's got some rigidity to it, and it bends and you can take it into position, etc., to mop that piece up. It looks really simple, but it's dramatically difficult. Anyway, that's in place, so now I'm designing a top for it that obviously matches the contours of the car and the airbox shape I've got here, to allow for boost hyzes, to allow for the positive, to allow the airbox to fit, air pipe to fit, and then I added a lip so it can fit over, and it's got a rubber edge on there, and a rubber edge on there, and a rubber edge probably on there. So that's what we've got so far. There's a little kink on the one side, not really on the other. I'm trying to fit fits in place somewhere like that, or it will do. And I'm just going to cut the hole. I'll linish it off. I've got the dots on it for drilling holes through for 4 fixing points, and I'll show you what it looks like kind of finished. I say kind of finished because I'm never finished. Alright, so it's bitterly cold and it's raining now. I'm just about finished. I have a whole pot of these somewhere, can't find them. Basically 10mm head, self-tapping kind of type screws. They're brilliant, I love them. They have a retaining washer, so I'm going to replace the 2 little tiny brass ones with those, and possibly pop one there. But at the moment it's nice and solid on this section, which will have a rubber edge on it, as that wheel, that wheel, that wheel and that wheel, which will just seal it a little bit better. And there it is. I'd highly recommend the 1mm aluminium plate. It's really easy to work with, inexpensive, lightweight, won't rust. Watch out when you're just plenishing the edges, you know, firing off stuff, because it basically can create a razor. And the other top tip for stuff here is if you're drilling into your bodywork, I've got an old pot of my wife's nail varnish, honest it's my wife's, and I'll stick it in the hole after I've drilled it. So you drill a hole, bit of nail varnish, then pop it in. That just stops it rusting. It's just a bit handy. You've not always got a pot of your own paint around. So there we go. Airbox is basically finished. Obviously the hole there is for the knacker duct going in, an ACA duct, and I'm going to get a 3-inch flexi there to go up and underneath. I'm probably going to get rid of this just to tie this up. It's always been a bit of a mess, not really created much airflow, so I'm going to just get rid of that, and that'll tidy the front end up nicely. There we go. Shiny! Oh, shiny!